Welcome, dogs. Get your goggles, get your tightest lycra tri-suit, put on those compression socks. Why be good at one sport if you can be shit at three? This is the Triathlon Mockery podcast. What is going on, dogs? The November months are in full swing and grim winter training for the most triathletes have started again because the 2025 season is approaching. And if it's all right, then everyone had their off season unless you're in Mexico for the flipping chicken and eggs and Ironman coaching out this weekend. But Jody and Tommy are in full swing. Mate, how has training been going?
Oh, mate, it was grim yesterday. It's been going well, but yesterday was definitely grim. It was nice in the morning. It was nice and sunny. Did a run and then went out on the bike, and it kind of lured me into a false sense of security because it was like sunny when I first went out. And then 25-30 minutes later, it started like spitting. I looked at the sky and I was like, oh, I can still see bits of blue. It's not too bad. And then it got worse and worse. And then it got dark and I was riding up to the coast. I was in pitch black, like on the country roads, in the dark, in the rain. My hands were so cold by the time we got to the end. I couldn't even like trade, like for our front door we've got like a key caddy where you put like a number code in, and I couldn't even move the numbers on it because I couldn't feel my hands to feel where if I was pushing the numbers. So I had to get...
I've got scars from the past from rides like that. Like as soon as I see something like some rain is coming, I just don't want to go out anymore in 2-3 degrees with rain.
I wouldn't have gone out in it if I'd have known, but it was like forecast to be sunny, and it was like such a nice day before that, like completely like blue skies. Couldn't even see a cloud in the sky. There was no forecast, and it absolutely was chucking it down for 2 hours, mate. 2 and a bit, over 2 hours. It was actually chucking it down like pretty hard in the dark, miserable. My feet.
And then afterwards, you did the run off the bike?
No, I did the run beforehand. But you know when you go into this was like come back, like I got back at like 6 p.m. So it was like 3 degrees and rain, it said on the Garmin. Horrible, miserable, mate. And my feet were swollen. You know when you go in the shower and you warm up and it's like actually painful, isn't it? It was like that. It was actually like, it was causing me serious bodily harm.
I don't want to go through, because I think the majority of that is like mental pain, isn't it?
Yeah, it was
like
mental.
You just feel so sorry for yourself. Like what?
I thought I could be anywhere in the world right now, and I'm riding around in freezing cold rain. Like, well,
how have you got any highs and lows?
Well, that was a low for me, for
that
definite.
Was
because it was miserable.
I have definitely had a massive low this week. So, I mean, you don't need to feel sorry for me, but I went out for a mini training camp to Spain from Monday till Saturday. So, and I've only had rain every day. They've never had so much rain in that area of Spain. And
did it actually rain every day?
Yeah, it was nuts. Absolutely nuts. Like sometimes we had to wait until like 2 p.m. to go on a 2-3 hour bike ride because it would have a dry window then. It was flipping nuts. But on the I quickly want to rant over my hire car story and give people some tips. If you're renting, if you go into some place, you need a rental car. So if you're going towards an Ironman. So I literally booked this a day before. So I went onto this website, and it was not a car rental website, but it's like one of these broker things, right? So I used my American Express to book a car. And it always says bring your credit card, right? So next day I arrived at the airport. There was no line. It was like 8:30 a.m. This was already in Spain, so already flew there very early in the morning. And they said, sorry, but we don't take this card. And I said, well, yesterday on the website when I booked it, you took my flipping card. But they said, oh no, we have sent you a waiver. And in the very small print on page 10 in section 25A, it says, we only take Visa or Maestro. So I was like, all right, and now? And basically what they said is you can't do anything. Like the booking will go ahead and we'll take the money that we saved on your card that we cannot take. And I had to rebook it. I had to rebook it with another company, spend another 250 euros for a car that wasn't there yet. So I had to wait for a couple of hours before the car came in. what was the other terror that I had with the car again? Mate, it was completely nuts. So I had to pay another 70 euros booking fee. In the end, I paid an absolute shitload money for that car. I could have almost bought one. What was the nuts thing was,
That was a
I
Lamborghini,
wanted to
wasn't
book the
it?
car. You had this just with we're recording the podcast. I wanted to book that car. So you're on the airport and because you're booking it from the airport and you need to pin the amount, it's like a new amount. It wanted me to approve it through the app on my phone. But the app on my phone said cannot open the app because you don't have the newest iOS system on your iPhone. Now, you book you try and update a new flippin' iOS system and download it like 5 gigabytes on a Spanish airport Wi-Fi network. So I've been standing there for 90 minutes to download it standalone, then installing it for another 45 minutes, then install the new Amex app. And then I was in, mate. But I've arrived at that airport so I was at that desk at 8:30, and I had the car a quarter or what was it 1:30? So after lunch, nuts, flipping nuts.
I hate rental car companies. There's always some kind of scammy thing what they do to you,
And,
like that.
and when I came back at the airport, they scammed me again.
What?
So
What did they do at the airport? And then when you took it back, then
I gave him the car back, and I was there at 2 or at 1:30, and they said, "Oh, you're too late. You had the booking. You had the booking at 9:30 a.m. So that's when I booked it. Remember the first day?
yeah,
I didn't get the car until like 1:30. So they say, "Oh, no, but it goes from the original booking. So we
I
have
didn't know
like."
that. I've never had that before. Like
Mate,
normally it's like on the day and it's fine.
exactly, me neither. But it
Yeah.
was like I said. She said it's here, and another flipping small prints. There were more small prints on that paper than
What
the paper.
company's this? So I know never to
Well,
book with them.
this was with Hertz, but the problem was it
Really?
was through a broker. So then they'll mess you up. So I'm never doing that again. I'm always going to book direct now.
What
And
broker was it from? Was it rental cars?
no, cheap tickets. But it's all the same. It's all the same. But I had to book another extra day and like a late fee or something.
Wow, what a bunch of assholes.
It's so annoying, don't you think?
Yeah, I had a similar thing when I was in California and I picked the car up before Oceanside because we were keeping it for like 3 or 4 weeks and then wanted to drop it off in Texas. You know, like for after
Yeah.
the Ironman, and it caused a massive headache. I can't even be asked to go into it, but basically they were right assholes. Um,
It's
right.
I also said to that women behind the desk, honestly, is there nothing you can do for me? Like I can pay the deposit in cash. I can do this. I can do that. No, 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 no. We're gonna take your money and say goodbye. Yeah.
Also, I had a low of the week where I had an e-bike come past me when I was coming back into the city the other day. Like it's probably about a week ago now, and he came past me and he wasn't pedaling, and it took me a few seconds to notice it. And I thought, well, I'm gonna catch up with him and try and sit in his draft. You know, like
Yeah.
I can get towed along back into the city. I put in a massive surge because riding like 550 watts for a while, trying to like bridge up to him. I couldn't bridge up to him, and I just like gave up. And I saw him like flipping riding off in the distance, and he didn't pedal once. And I was like, "What the fuck has he done to that bike?" It was literally like a motorbike.
Oh, a fat bike.
No, it was just a normal bike, like e-bike, but he'd obviously like de-restricted it somehow, and the flipping thing was going like 30 miles an hour without him even having to add any
Mate,
pedaling.
that is, if you go to the city center of Amsterdam, it's like a beehive of e-bikes, everyone going 50 k's an hour. There's so many accidents as well. Like they want to, by law now, they want to make it mandatory for kids on fat bikes to wear a helmet because these kids, mate, they're flipping nuts. They cause absolute carnage in the city center.
This guy's CDA must have been terrible as well. He was like in normal clothes, like a coat, stuff like that. Wasn't even like on drops. Like
the strange thing with these things is, so they've got an e-bike. They're going 50 k's an hour or 45 k's an hour. They don't wear a helmet because it's not a motorbike. They don't have insurance because it's a bike. So basically, they can just flip and annihilate someone on the street. Have no insurance, have no helmet, no speed limit. Well, it says 25 k's an hour is the speed limit restriction. But
Yeah, same here. That's what they're
yeah.
supposed to be.
But what you gonna do about it when?
You sound quite emotional about it. I'm feeling like there's been some animosity between you and the e-bikers. Like, is that an ongoing thing in Amsterdam?
I mean,
Road bikers and there's the unrestricted
it's
e-bikers.
just very, very skanky people that's causing a lot of carnage. And I mean, I don't really care because I've got bike handling skills, but I think they're like passing old people away every day in the city center of Amsterdam because they're getting molested by one of these bikes.
These
Honestly, it is crazy. The numbers are crazy. How many accidents there are in the
in Norwich, most of the people that are on them de-restricted bikes are doing like pizza deliveries and stuff like that, and Just Eat, Uber Eats and stuff like that, and they're like whipping around the town centre and stuff like that. I know what you mean. They dodge up and down all the like pedestrian bits, don't they? Like full speed, full steam ahead, don't they?
Yeah. It is. Yeah, full, and they don't even need to pedal.
No, I want one.
It's like they're riding like the front pack of Barcelona Ironman.
Yeah. The T100. What did you think about all the people in the lead up to it that were pulling out? Because on their contract it had that they had to do a certain amount, didn't they? And like the
you
main
need
one.
to update me a little bit because I was too busy training with Mathieu van der Poel. Now I haven't been seeing a lot from it, to be honest. So
well, in the lead up, they were all meant to be doing it like apart from obviously if you're injured and stuff like that, you can't.
Yeah.
Loads of them were like pulling out. Some of them were even saying couldn't do it like because it's been a long season and they're really tired, need a holiday and stuff like that. Obviously, like giving a bit of a sob story as to why they didn't want to compete and stuff like that. But in my head, it's kind of like you're a pro, like athlete. You've signed a contract to say that you're going to race this amount, and you knew the grand final was going to be in November time. So saying that you're tired and that you need a break when you've been doing other races like Ironman World Champs, which isn't even paying you to go there, you might want to do it because you like it, it seems attractive, it motivates you, but you didn't have to sign the contract. You signed the contract, and then loads of them are like breaking the contract and coming out with like excuses as to why they don't want to race. And I kind of feel like that's bad form. Like, I feel like with a lot of triathletes, they try and play a sob story like they've got a really hard life, and it's like all you're doing is like swim, bike, and running each day, and you're getting paid 100 grand a year to sign up to 4 events. Like, it's not really that big a deal, is it? Like, it's pretty easy.
Yeah, but like we said again, I think it has been a massive slip up from the T100 to make these contracts in the way that they are, unless they just want to give out money for free. But the consistency in the racing, especially in the women's field, is crazy. So basically, the concept is we're contracting the 20 best athletes in the world, but in fact, every race we only see 10. The other 10s are wildcards. And in essence, it is also nuts that people, like you say, take the money, take the 100 grand, but then focus on whatever they want to focus on. That's not what they get the 100 grand for. The 100 grand is pure commitment to this. And maybe, yes, we would have let them race another couple of races, but the contract as it is right now, I don't think it will make the athletes commit enough to take this seriously. They just
I think a lot of the athletes are using the contracts as a bit of pocket money to train for the races that they want to do, rather than give the T100 their actual full focus. I actually think get rid of the contract, have big prize money in each event, and you'll get all the people that are committed to the race and turn up because they're not getting a free handout to it. The problem is when you do the contracts, they kind of feel, a lot of the athletes are like, well, it doesn't matter if I don't do well, I'm still getting 100. I'm getting, they turn up to 4 races, which is, say, the minimum. They get 100 grand for turning up. All right, I've got $25,000 minimum if I finish last from turning up to these races. It's just there's no incentive for some of these athletes to take part, and you can see by the deficits which they're like getting, as the races go on compared to what they are in other races. They're obviously just, filling the ticking the box for the contract, but with no.
I think, with all respect, for some athletes, especially in the women's field, it's just because they're so good in combination with not a lot of strength and depth, it's just easier for them to get a lot of prize money. So they're a bit spoiled. If I look at the men's field, some of the athletes need to perform, otherwise they can't do it full time. There are so many male athletes that need to fully commit and take every dollar they can just to make this sport work. Whereas I don't think there's anyone in a proposition in the men's field that would say, all right, thanks for the 100 grand, but I'm not going to race. I'm going to do this Ironman and then take a holiday, because they probably know that they might not get a contract next year. But maybe it's just me guessing, but that's what I think.
Yeah. Anyway, going to the racing, it was actually the best racing. Did you watch any of it or not? Because you were like traveling. Did you
I
see
was
any?
literally battling at the Seven Hills on Sunday, and when the women's race was on, I was literally at the airport in the plane.
So obviously Taylor Knibb won in the women's, and I sent you a clip because I was watching it, and at one point in the race, I think it was like with 2 kilometers to go, something like that. She said, "Can you? I've just shit myself. Can you not film my ass?" to the photographer, which I
Yeah.
thought was quite funny that you'd say that, because, I mean, I don't know about you, but like if I'm wearing a darker coloured suit, I'd probably go like incognito and not say anything and hope that no one noticed, and then at the end like sort myself out.
Yeah, but what if it drips down your legs? That's
That's
gonna
the
be.
problem. Yeah, I mean, it feels a lot worse, I imagine, than what it actually looks. So you're like, oh god, like does this look horrendous? Like I need to tell them, because you
Because
don't
if
want.
she didn't give him a heads up,
Yeah,
then the reporter would maybe have soon done this, and then, oh whoa, Taylor
yeah.
Knibb is dropping her Morton Sports Nutrition. Oh, what is this? What are you dropping, Taylor?
That's Morton
So,
bicarb. That is.
so you better give it a heads up. But
Yeah,
yeah, go on in
it's a
with the
tricky
story.
one, isn't it? Because you don't really want to tell them, but you don't want them to film anything if it looks terrible. It's like, what do you do? But then I guess you'd have hoped that it wouldn't have been on the live stream. You'd have hoped it would have been like the cameraman would have took it on board and it wouldn't have been broadcast to everyone. But it was broadcast to everyone, so what can we do? Like everyone saw it. But anyway, it made me more of a fan, to be honest, of Taylor Knibb, because it's a pretty hardcore attitude, isn't it? You know what I mean? Obviously, she had a lot of money at stake. Like if she'd have stopped, and let's just say she stopped and she thought, oh, I can't carry on, I'm going to poo myself, and she ends up coming second or third in the series. Even if she came second, she loses the grand final, whatever the prize money is for that, and 70 grand extra in prize money, because Ashley Gentle could have moved up and leapfrogged her, in
Yeah,
the
yeah.
overall attendance. So it was a big. She was obviously doing it to win big. Like, I mean, of course, like if I was in the same situation, I'd 100% do it. I
It's
think everyone would.
200 grand plus X
Yeah,
bonuses, X
that's
sponsor
the
bonus.
GT. That's the GT3, isn't it, Tom? That is like, of
Flipping
course, I'm
GT
going to
free,
do it.
baby. I would
Yeah.
I would flip and run and cover myself in shit for GT free, But yeah, going in with the story. That
So yeah, she did it, and then it's kind of sparked off, didn't it, online, that there's some people that have been posting it up. Some people think it's bad
did
that you
some
share.
people post that up?
Some people did, yeah. Like some people
Wow.
posted. I mean, we posted up and then had to take it down, didn't we? We didn't have to take it down. We didn't have to take it down. We decided to take it down. Like emotions were getting a bit flared, weren't they? You know what people like, that people are a bit hot under the collar. But that does bring us, before we go on to it any more about that, to our sponsor announcement. We actually have a sponsor, don't we, Tom?
We have our first sponsor of the podcast.
And a little bit about our sponsor. Our sponsor, if you want to wear a white tri-suit, like legends like Kyle Smith, Christian Blumenfeld, if you're an incontinent triathlete, or if you want to have full commitment to battle for the wins, Pampers have come on board with their nappies. My 19-month-old daughter wears them. She's in a size 5. I've been testing them. I'm in the Ultra G, so I can get to the finish line in one piece.
Mate,
If
I've
you're
been testing this one in training as well. So last week I did, for example, a long session. I ate 2 burritos extra spicy at the Mexican the night before. Then the next morning I took 4 coffees and I just went on a run. Not went to the toilet, and I just let everything loose. Nothing, mate.
it
Absolutely
was
nothing.
it was
If you-
liberating, wasn't it?
It was liberating, and it's the future of triathlon. If you want to test it now, you can get 1 free pamper with our promo code Full Commitment.
And Taylor, if you want one, just hit us up and we will send you some Pampers. I was also going to say as well, it's a real sign of flexing. Like some people buy a nice watch, don't they? Like an AP or like a Patek, don't they, to flex? Some men do. But the real flex is, you won't know this yet, Tom, because you haven't got kids. But a real flex is when you see a mum using Pampers all the time. Because
As in on herself or on the baby?
No, on the baby. On the
All right.
baby. If they're
Why is that a
using
flex?
because they're so much more expensive than normal nappies. What a lot of people do is they're a bit strategic with it. So they'll use like the Aldi or the Lidl ones. I think the brand's called Mamia or something like that. You know, the cheaper ones during the day. Then you swap to a Pampers at night because you're going to be in it for a bit longer. You want a bit more protection because they're so hardcore. The mums that use Pampers all day and all night, that's a flex because they're just getting shat on and pissed on, and then they're going in straight in the bin. That's a real flex. If you see someone using
I
Pampers,
thought everyone always used a pamper, or a
I
pamper and
do,
a
mate.
nappy was the same. What's a flipping nappy then?
Different brands, mate. It's just different brands. It's like you're going for your Morton or you're going for something else. You know, it's the same.
Oh, really?
And like, yeah, like Pampers, mate. They're like the super gel. You know, like they do the same as the other ones, but they're like 10 times the price. But so if you see a mum and they're using Pampers all the time, mate, that is some serious flexing.
All right. Anyway, I had another question with regards. So, Taylor Knibb is just a flipping hero, you know. She just literally and vigorously didn't give a shit, and she went flipping getting that cash. But I was thinking, back to our stage king, Giannis Frodeno. You know, he really gives a lot about his looks. Remember, he's always like clean bike, clean kit. I don't sweat. I work hard. I win races. And I was thinking, is he the kind of athlete that also would say, I've just shit myself, can you not get that? Or would he even? Or would he stop? Or would he say, oh, my lower back? That was what I was thinking yesterday. Because he's just such a metro man, is what they call it.
Yeah, I mean, that would be, could you imagine? He used to wear a white tri-suit as well, didn't he? There was bad boy. Jesus.
Questions, mate. These are the questions. What would Giannis Frodeno do?
I think Giannis Frodeno would put the Pampers on because he wants to wear the white tri-suit.
Yeah, but it's too late. It's too late. He's in the same position as Knibb was now. Would he stop?
I think he would stop. Like, I don't know. Like, what do you think? Like, would he do it? It depends what the race is. If it was Kona and he was going for the win, I think he would do it. But
what you can always do is put your hand down your suit and put it in your hand and throw it away.
Oh, that would be horrible. That would.
Yeah.
Putting it. Like, trying to like use your hand like a shovel, man. I had a really bad story where it happened to me before, going back to 2016 in Challenge Galway. So I'd only been with Laura for like 2 or 3 years. She hadn't been to many triathlons at that time. And I remember I had the Brownlees eat pizza before a race for carbo loan because you can get it anywhere. And they were killing it at the time, the Brownlees. You know, this is like before Alistair had won Rio, so he was only a one-time Olympic.
Brownlee's still killing it, mate.
Yeah, still killing it. But back then they were like... they were everywhere. They were like annihilating it. And I remember reading somewhere that they eat pizzas because you can get it anywhere. And I thought, oh, sweet. I like a pizza. I love one of them the night before. So I'm there getting a pizza for the race next day and looking at all the different options. And I see one with jalapenos on there. Oui. And Laura goes, do you think that's smart, getting one with jalapenos? They're spicy. They might upset your tummy. I said, jalapenos, they ain't even spicy. It's not even a proper chili. Like that'll be fine. She obviously thought, oh, English bloke taking jalapenos on. He's no Mexican. Like, he's really going to pay for that. And I'm like, no, it'll be fine. I'm used to way spicier stuff than that. Anyway, get into the race, don't I? Rack the bike. And you know when you start the run, you feel your tummy going, blah, 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 don't you? You're like, oh, God. I'm actually getting off the bike as well. So I'm in a bit of a conundrum here because it's a 70.3 distance. And I actually, believe it or not, get off the bike in the lead group, Tom. I'm starting.
In the lead group? Where was this?
In the lead group, yeah. Challenge Galway 2016. I'm battling it out for the win, mate, at the end of the
bike. But it must have been in a shit field.
No. Well, it weren't a T100. It weren't a T100, but it was pro race. David McNamee run off at the start. And then I'm battling away with me and Dylan McNeice for second and third at the time with someone else. I can't remember.
No, Dylan was still in the mix back then.
Yeah, Dylan was in the mix. And I'm thinking, oh, God, what do I do? I've never podiumed in a 70.3 before. This is my time. And on the other hand, I'm like, oh, Joe, your tummy feels really bad. Like, what are you going to have to do? And I've never done anything like that before. You know, like the thought of it was like making me like sweat, you know, and feel horrible. It was a really wet day as well. Horrible, horrible day in Ireland, so it was blowing a gale, pouring down rain, which was actually quite good. Like for it to be in them conditions, I'm thinking, right, when I see a Portaloo, I'm stopping, and I'm going to quickly be in and out in a flash. I'm running, and I can't see one. I'm struggling to hold it in. My tummy is literally feeling like it's going to drop, and I'm like, what do I do? I can't run into a restaurant and quickly use the toilet because they're too far away. You literally run along on the seafront, and I'm like, oh no, it's coming. There's nothing I can do, and I did it, and like it felt horrendous. The thought of it, I was like, and then on my, on the other side of my head, I'm like, you have to get a result now. If you don't get the podium after you've just done that, then that is flipping embarrassing. Like and and terrible. Luckily, I ended up managing to get second. I feel sorry for Dylan McNeese. He can probably still like we were running side by side, like, and it must have been horrendous for him. It was horrendous for me, the thought of it. Luckily, at the time, them races actually had showers and stuff, which is very rare, isn't it? Like
Yeah.
normally when you race, you don't have like showers and change rooms, do you? So luckily there was a shower there. I managed to go straight into the shower, literally cross line, boom, in there, sorting myself out, and then getting changed. And
But
I was
it's,
like,
I mean, like also Taylor Knibb says, it was very, very embarrassing. But to be honest, if it happens to you, you find it embarrassing. But when I hear the stories, I mean, it's flipping grim what you're going through, but it's not embarrassing. Like in a sad way, it is part of Ironman or part of triathlon. It is, you know. I mean, you don't want. Sorry.
Laura still rips the piss out of me for it.
Yeah, but
I'm
it's
never going to have anything spicy. Oh, remember what happened to last time? Oh, has he told you the jalapeno story?
it is embarrassing, and you don't want it to happen to anyone. But on the other hand, like I don't find it embarrassing if it happens to someone because I'm like, oof, they went through for that is terrible. You know, it happens to a lot of people. We need to normalize.
It does happen to a lot of people, but yeah, and it is pretty embarrassing when it actually happens to you. You do feel pretty embarrassed. I do have to admit, like it was. But when I finished that as well, there was another guy who ended up having the same thing. Maybe he went for the jalapeno pizza, or the night before. I don't know, but like he did it, and you could see it was all down his legs and everything. Like yeah, it was horrible, and it was all like an orangey kind of color, and then. Afterwards, there's all these showers and stuff, and like normally, if it happened to you, like you'd do what I did, wouldn't you? Be like straight in the shower when you're sorting yourself out. He was standing around chatting to people, like he didn't care. Like for him, that was just like, but you know, like I was well surprised. Horrible.
Hey, quickly about shape update, weekly shape update, brother. So last week we had a chat on the podcast, and I was saying that I was going to run the 7 hills, right? And we were talking to each other why it's called 7 hills and how it can be a fast course, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to explain why it's a fast course.
Why it's not a fast course. It's a terribly slow course. It's just that Kiplimo managed to run the world record on it. Imagine what he could do on a flat course.
I know. So basically, you start the run.
Can I just ask you something? Before you started, was there a little bit of you that thought, fuck it, I'm going to go out with Kiplimo and just see what he's all about?
I had because I've got no race results in athletics. I can't be in the elite or in the amateur elite start group, so I was behind that.
How far back were you?
Not mega far back, but there's still like 500 people in front of me, which is an absolute shitloads, mate. Absolute shitloads. So
you're like 30, 40 rows back, something like
that. Yeah, maybe even more. Because when I started the run, I was thinking like, how can some of these people, the majority of these be in front of me? As in, why would you stand all the way up front if you start running 4-minute K pace or slower?
They always do that in running races.
That's so annoying.
That always happens.
It's like the breaststrokers in the fast lane in the swimming pool. But anyway, I started the run, and immediately the first 3Ks is like uphill. So gradually, and then bam, up a steep one. But everyone is fresh at the start, so you just bang it a bit harder. I unfortunately had very, very, very sore legs from all the cycling last week. So in case 2, I knew, woof, this is already the limit. Like I could feel my heart was not pounding, or it was very low, but my legs feel like they didn't have any glycogen in them. And then when you reach the top at K3, it's a bit rolling up and down. So the canyons can still also because they're light, mate. They're light. If they're maybe
how small are they when you see them in real life?
Because I couldn't even see them, and they were standing next to me. Uh,
Are they
they're
tall as well? Like, were they as
some
tall
of
as you?
some of them, yeah, some of them are tall, some of them are smaller, but they're just very light, mate. Like they're probably something like 50 kilos. And I was standing on the scale yesterday. I was 81. So they would actually need to carry another one on their back, and we're kind of like on the same level. But anyway, once you're halfway in, the roll-in stops a little bit. You've got a little bit of flat and then a very steep downhill, very steep. That was the moment I knew I couldn't speed up on the steep bits because my quads were so sore from all the cycling that I do you know that feeling where you've got very sore quads and you want to
Yeah.
bend over so you can get more speed when running? Mate, that was dangerous. I think I would have snapped and crashed. So that's why my 10K over a very hilly terrain was very equally paced. Like almost every K pace is the same. But they can then lean forward, bam, get a lot of speed. And then there's one more uphill. And then as of kilometer 10 or 11, it's all slightly downhill. So when the fatigue sets in, then they can still carry the speed because it's like a small incline down back into Nijmegen. So that's why I think it's a fast course, because at the end you've got everything downhill. And yeah,
Would it be faster if it was pan flat?
I don't know. That was my question. Are there a lot of 15K races? Because it's a bit of an odd distance, right?
Yeah. I don't know of any 15K races,
Because
and if there are, don't really get fields like that, do they?
exactly, and that's the whole thing. Because the Seven Hills is a mega race, 15 to 20,000 competitors. I think Kiplimo and all them get great start money, and that's why I think it always attracts a massive field, and thus the world record will always be here at the Seven Hills.
On Total Running Productions, they did a video from the Seven Hills, and Kiplimo's actually gone faster through 15K on a split to when he set his half marathon world record. It's obviously now beaten now by a second, but in that half marathon, his 15K split was 40-20, and didn't he do like 40-30 or 40-40 something in Seven
Yeah.
Hills? So he was like 20 seconds faster through 15K when he set the half marathon world record in Valencia.
Yeah, well, there you go. I because I was saying yesterday, first of all, I've got a lot of weight to carry up the hills, and second of all, going up the hills, I don't think is that fast. But I think there are not that many 15K races that are like really famous, that attracts a lot of big athletes.
Yeah, I'm slow at running up hills, especially in a running race like that, like a proper where you got to run fast. I'd lose too much time. I just couldn't see myself
It's
getting it back.
crazy. Like really, really light women popping left and right away from me
Were they?
into the horizon. And then on the downhills, I don't know. It's just, you can see on the hills, you could see him like running away. And then on the flats, I could come back a little bit. But
That's just because they're trying to get away from your chat up lines, mate, not because of they want a fast time.
I didn't have any yesterday. Like, it was tough. But I'm stoked with my time. So you did a 10K yesterday. What did you want to do for the marathon again? It was a 2:20.
That yeah. If I
What
train
pace
hard
was
enough,
it again?
3:20.
3:20K pace. Oh, yeah, you can do that. You can do that. Because yesterday, the pace I ran, I need to run that for the marathon if I want to run sub 2:30.
3:35s, 3:36s.
Yeah, and I ran 3:34s, so I'm just under it.
So basically, if you want to break 2:30 for the marathon, I reckon you need to do a 1:11 at least, half marathon, something like that, or a 1:12.
Yeah, not
Like under 1:12 to have a chance of doing it. If you can do a 1:11 something and you do a good block of run training, then I reckon then you're in sub 2:30 marathon shape.
But now, after this weekend, I'm thinking this might not be in the tank. That's the whole thing. I just don't have any speed. Like, I could run 3:45s, 3:40s for a very long time, but then way faster than that. So sub 3:30s, so 3:25s. No, mate, no.
Yeah, but that's just threshold, isn't it? Like if anyone goes above their threshold, it feels
Yeah,
like
it's threshold. Yeah,
catching up with you quickly, because you can run under threshold for absolutely ages because you're not accumulating any lactate, are you? But as soon as you go above
exactly.
threshold, like no matter
Yeah,
what your
but
threshold is,
a
it
lot of
starts.
these runners, they can run a 10K in 33 or 32 minutes, but then they have a really shit half marathon or marathon time, relatively shit.
Yeah, but that might just be because they've got like
No
bad fit
endurance.
to keep, bad endurance,
Yeah.
But like if they were going, like say they if they were going above their threshold pace for like a period of time, they're going to feel like they're burning matches, aren't they?
I'm
Like
just
that's just
always surprised how many people run like such a fast 10K or half marathon or 15K.
but that just shows you that if a lot of people can do it, then it can't be that unattainable, can it?
But in the end, they can't swim and bike. I've never seen
They're not
them
a
with
54-minute Ironman swimmer, are they? If you
exactly.
put Kiplimo in the Ironman, he's not gonna be doing 54 minutes. Do you think, in your current shape now and his current shape, so he's just broke the world record, who do you think would win
I
in
would
a
absolutely
70.3?
annihilate him in a
In a
triathlon.
70.3?
Absolutely annihilate him.
What about if we had a month? Say this was a life or death situation, or for £1 million, and we had a month to get Kiplimo as fast as possible, so we
I
could
would
like tune him up.
absolutely annihilate the shit out of him because
Really?
in a half marathon, in a triathlon, he would probably only take 15 minutes out of me. And
Well,
I
let's
think
say he runs 63 off the bike.
he will never run a 63 off the bike, but let's say he will run a
What?
60.
He's a
All right,
57
let's say he will
track.
run a 60 off the bike, so he will run 17 minutes quicker than me. Mate, I think if he would ride faster than 34 k's an hour, he's on EPO probably.
What, you reckon if we got him on a TT bike, tuned him up, imagine how low his CDA is going to be, because you said he's so
Yeah,
small.
but they're so shit at cycling, mate. They're so shit at cycling.
One of them went over the handlebars at sub-7, didn't they? Pacing
Yeah. No, but that's the bike handling skills. But literally, just the power output is just very, very, very low.
So you're fancying your chances over Kiplimo in a
100%. And I think he's going to lose 15 minutes in the water standalone.
and you
If he's
can't
going to make it out of the water. If he's going to make it out of the water. Like, yeah, I'm taking him on, definitely. But anyway, I need to go now because it's 10 a.m. Amigo. Thanks for the chat. Hey, everyone, don't forget to use your full commitment discount code on the free Pampers.
Ultra G. That's what you want to be getting on the website. The Ultra G if you're a triathlete.
The Ultra Gs. All right. Thanks for listening, everyone. And the dogs will be back next week with a new podcast. See you.
See you.